get absorbed in, and you are Sonic.
What's up, everybody? I'm Taylor Olmstead, and I want to welcome you to No Repeat, a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week with no repeats and no do-overs to create a perfect playlist for every occasion life throws at you. Joining me are my co-hosts Tyler Reed.
Hey, everybody!
And Sean Evans.
Ahoy, ahoy.
So this week's challenge comes to us from friend of the show, Sarah Stroop. Sarah wanted us all to pick our best first date pump-up song, so the song that you listen to before you go out on a first date. So how did you guys approach this? I'm curious.
It was awful. This took me longer than any warm-up challenges or any challenges that we've had that we recorded for the show. It's just hard. It was very difficult.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I really thought that I was going to know what I wanted for this, and it came to like Wednesday or Thursday, and I was still just like 20 songs deep on my playlist of possibilities, and I really had a hard time narrowing it down.
I knew exactly what I wanted, but it took me an entire week of searching and digging to find the one song. To find a song that fits the criteria that I'm looking for.
So unpack that criteria for us a little bit, Tyler.
Okay, so the idea would be that I would be picking this person up or I'd be meeting them somewhere. And there's a good chance that within the time period of me driving there and me meeting them, there's a chance that they could hear what I'm listening to. And what I wanted is something that when I arrived and if they could hear, because I always play with music very loud, it's always bumping. Well, if they could hear what I'm listening to, I want it to not be real weird. I want it to just be not creepy or weird or strange or anything like that. I want it to make me feel cool. Mm-hmm. Like Hey Arnold's living room or his bedroom.
Oh my god. So you chose mood music.
No, sort of.
Sort of.
Yes and no.
I'm kind of concerned that do you listen to weird music all the time that people would definitely judge you on your first date?
I definitely always want people to think that I'm a jazz aficionado whenever I am in any social situation.
What a dreamboat.
I went to college and took a class on jazz appreciation. I'm allowed to feel this way.
You're approved. You can listen to jazz, I guess. Since you took a college course. Was it a 100 level course?
Oh yeah, baby. You better believe it.
Okay,
there was no risk involved in that class.
All right, that's good.
But you know what? At the end of the day, I came out appreciating jazz.
Well done.
So, mission accomplished, all things considered.
Should I talk about my methodology then?
Yeah, Sean, go ahead. How did you decide your song?
I wasn't sure if I wanted to have a happy song or a sad song, because that's what made this really difficult for me. Was I had to like reflect on first dates and hurdles, and there was a lot of like particular things. Like you were saying that you were probably gonna go pick them up and you're a music blaster. I'm more of a get pumped up in the quiet of your own home with some headphones, like get some personal pump up time. You get ready, get kind of psyched up, and this was how I came to it, which is why I ended up picking the song that I picked, which is a little bit more lo-fi.
Well, to be fair, you kind of picked a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You kind of did a little column C.
Yeah.
Had Taylor not picked his on, I think it was on Friday, I probably would have went with like a pop punk song as well. I probably would have done something kind of within that realm. Or I would have done like something like kind of metal-y if I was like, in the confines of my own home or in my own car with, no one around. That's probably what I would do. Because I am frequently driving in my car fast, listening to things, doing hand motions out the window, mouthing vocals. It's a very full body experience.
Yeah, I imagine that your insurance agent is hopefully not listening to this podcast.
Yeah, I don't think that would bode well for your next rate audit.
The joke is that someone bumped into my taillight and broke it this week, so I spent several days getting that fixed. So they're aware of something. They're aware that I'm on a city street.
So, kind of like Sean, my approach was songs you listen to in the comfort of your home or car immediately before the date, not necessarily like the song for picking the person up, because I feel like that's a separate challenge. The like, what do you play to impress someone when they're in your car challenge. So I really wanted to go with something that was a little bit more for me. And when I think about like what kind of music do I listen to make me feel like confident and positive and like knowing who I am, I always go to pop punk because that was like my genre of choice as a teenager. And I feel like, I don't know, first dates are kind of like inherently teenager-esque, right? Like it's kind of awkward and hormonal and weird, and like you want to come off as cool and interesting, but not like too over the top or like self-centered or whatever. There's a lot of tightrope walking, which feels like middle school and high school for me. And basically all pop punk music is about that. So that's why I went in that direction.
Taylor's actually the only one of us that's been on a first date within several years. So
yeah, we should put in some context. Sean and Tyler are both in long-term relationships, and in the last week I've gone on 2 first dates. So
Taylor's needed this more than the rest of us.
This has been a pretty relatable challenge. Kudos to Sarah for suggesting this one.
Yeah. That's what made this hard for me, because I was thinking back to like, what was it like to be in this headspace?
Do you talk about music on a first date?
Ooh, that's a difficult question.
I mean, I usually at least ask about music, like what kind of music are you into, or like what's your favorite song right now? Like a very surface level question to try and gauge the person.
Oh my God.
Well, no, because I feel like you can't go into a date and just immediately be like, so tell me your feelings about Neutral Milk Hotel. You know, like you got to kind of figure out where that person is and what they listen to, and if they're even passionate about music, because there are people that music is just a background thing for them. Obviously, we are not those people.
Is that a deal breaker for you?
I think it is. Yeah, like I don't really care what you listen to, but I want the person that I'm with to care about music and be passionate about music, even if it's not necessarily music that I like.
So follow-up question to that then. Would your song change if you were saying, this specific person, would I listen to a different song?
You mean like, does the song change based on who I'm going on a date with?
Yes.
No, not really. Like in building this playlist this week, or in building my playlist of choices this week, I listened to some of them before going on dates, and I feel like all of the songs that I was looking at were very like general purpose. I wouldn't like associate them with a specific person or a specific kind of person.
So your song is tested and approved.
Yeah, I think so. All right, well, let's get into it. Who wants to go first this week?
Tyler, let's start with yours.
The song I chose is Jasmine by Gustav. This one after much deliberation. My goal was to find a beat that was not chill and not lo-fi. And I was like, how hard can that possibly be, right? Like, there's lots of beats, lots of beat makers out there, but I discovered, I rediscovered, I dug through my old files, you know, like I last FM'd like my last played over the last like 360 days. You know, I scoured everything, and it just took forever to just dig up everything. And I think for me, I'm always want to lead with like a strong hit, and this song delivers that. But most like lo-fi chill beats take so long to get going, and yeah, they're really great. But when you listen to like 50 different beats, you're like, man, these sure do all start with the same drum part, same like noise, same grainy kind of sound effects, you know, like, come on, I just need something that's gonna bop right from the get-go, and it's gonna keep bopping.
Yeah, this was an interesting choice. I wasn't really expecting you to go in this direction because I usually use this kind of music almost as like functional background noise when I'm working. But I do have a selection of beats like this that I use in the car a lot when I'm driving around town. And I feel like this song has that, like, you're right, it has a propulsiveness to it that, like, I'm going to put this on my driving playlist because I feel like, you know, running errands or driving to the date or even just, like, walking down the street to the coffee shop. Like, this is a really good get you moving kind of beat. The plinky pianos are pretty fun, but it definitely, like, I'm glad this song is only 2 minutes long because if it were much longer, I feel like I would get really sick of those pianos. But it's just the right amount, I think.
See, I didn't really see this song as being something that's like walking around places. I imagine much more of Tyler bringing someone back to his pad full of mid-century modern furniture and pouring a nice drink on the rocks and kind of having a nice conversation in front of a fireplace. Like this for me almost sounds like mood music.
That's fine. I'm a mood man.
Yeah, I think if it gets you in like the mood to go on a date, yeah, maybe that's your happy place, is that nice warm Impossibles 2 house.
Incredibles 2, you mean?
Yeah, Incredibles 2 house. With the water features, and I'm starting to believe that Tyler is just a man stuck out of his time.
Yeah, I feel like your place, it just always has this kind of like soft, moody jazz sound to it in my head. And I don't know, like, I think you could like listen to something like that getting ready for a date, but I just worry that it would chill me out too much. You know, this is the kind of music that I, like Sean said, I want to sit down and sip a drink to, not necessarily like get hyped up for a social interaction. But if it works for you, it works for you.
But see, that was the problem. I was searching for just a good beat, and like some of my other picks were a little more hype, but they were almost too hype. There was too much there, they were too eccentric almost. I was like, this is too extra for me right now. Like, I just wanted something that was just straightforward, you know, it was simple, you know, just something to kind of make me move, kind of just groove. I wasn't really, I don't know. I didn't want...
No, don't feel bad. I totally get I get your vibe here, because I think that Taylor sees one point of the perspective of this, which is fine, that there's like getting hyped up and getting ready for social interaction. And then there's what I feel that your song is, which is a more centering approach. Like, the feelings are already there. The personal emotions are already high. So when you listen to something that's a little bit more jazzy or chill, it allows you to kind of come back to earth and kind of stand on a steadier ground for something that's, you know, might be really uncomfortable or might be a total flop. And I appreciate that. All
right, Sean, you want to share your pick next?
Yeah, of course. So for my pick this week, I chose Always Not My Baby. So the reason that I chose Always Not My Baby is because after I scoured a lot of my old playlists, I kind of started thinking about what it was like to go on first dates and what I needed from myself to go on first dates, because I was already like really pumped up, which is why I think I like Tyler's song, because I needed to be centered. But one thing that I really searched for myself a lot was the personal approval to do something, because I realized that I get really attached to the people that I'm with before, and I'm really emotionally invested in that. So I kind of searched for songs that allowed me a release to go out and find something new and something better, like someone that would be a better compliment to myself, that I could use what I've learned from my last relationship and be happier. So that's why Not My Baby, which it sounds like it is kind of a personal song. Like, now that I'm leaving somebody, I can be myself And that's fine, but I almost have to be at that point to move on. Does that make sense?
No, that totally makes sense. I was really interested to hear your logic behind this. I kind of figured that's the direction you were going. I really like just the overall vibe of this song. It's got this like shoegazy feel to it and a very ethereal lead vocal that, like you said, it's kind of centering, it's kind of calming, but it does like it has this emotion behind it that you can really get, especially in the live video that you link to. It'll be in the show notes. You can just really see the emotion in the lead singer's delivery. I don't remember her name, but it's a really fantastic performance. Yeah, this is an interesting pick. It's not what I would have picked, but I really like this song. This is cool.
This is also not what I would have expected out of Sean. I would have expected the White Stripes.
You can't pick Jack White for everything.
That's true. Actually, I take that back. Probably Black Road Motorcycle Club, because I feel like, well, I don't know, because I guess this makes sense when I have to think about this. I don't know what I would expect out of Sean.
Thank you.
Because I feel like going into this challenge, I had no idea what anyone was going to choose.
I think personally I had a little bit of idea. Like, Taylor has a nice safe space that he goes to when it comes to like first experiences, so I had an idea of what he was going to do. I didn't have any idea what you were going to do, and honestly, I didn't have any idea what I was going to do. That's what made this so difficult. Like, I posted this about an hour and a half ago, about an hour before the show was ready to record, because I kind of sat on it and had a bunch of switching and didn't really know what was going to happen. But
I mean, that being said, I mean, it's a great song. I feel like in another podcast we've talked about this band before, because I think I had them saved, and I don't remember why. Have we talked about them before?
Yeah, I think we did their first album review on Dude's Brunch maybe like a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Okay, because they felt familiar, and I probably liked them then, and I still like them now. And this is a great song, and I definitely think that the live version is much better than the recorded version, because I've listened to both and I threw one onto the Spotify list. I mean, just the hook is just great. You know, just love that vocalist, and I love the sort of the almost electronic drums. Actually, I don't remember. Do they have a real drum set?
Yep, they got a real drum set.
Well, they're very consistent. It almost sounds like a drum machine. But I mean, it just kind of keeps you going forward. So even though you kind of wanted a little more calm song, I think it has a little bit. It's got a little bit of kick to it. You know, like it's not it's not like a brand new where it's kind of just like sad.
Yeah, it's like a wistful sadness, which I think it's appropriate.
The exact word I was going to use. And isn't that a first date, though?
I guess.
Do you guys ever feel like that before you go on a first date? Do you ever like need approval from yourself to kind of move on? Is that just me? I'm just curious.
I'm totally with you on that. It feels very like I love and hate that feeling, because it feels very Joseph Gordon-Levitt in 500 Days of Summer, like just not allowing yourself to move on, and you need a soft indie song in the background while the leaves fall and you're walking through the park to feel like, yes, I am my own person and I will make it. But I've definitely been in that place, and I think this song captures that feeling really well. I was trying to capture a completely different feeling around the first date with my pick. I picked a song called Apartment by Modern Baseball.
The next time I saw you was in your apartment. Oh, why do I keep ending up here on starlit evenings? Still sleeping, but this time you sat next to me on the couch. I stare out the window, hands glued.
I really, really like this song. It's a song about asking someone out, which I think kind of fits the tone here. And it's a very like typical kind of emo song where it has a sing-songy verse, and then kind of like a loud aggressive chorus and then back to the sing-songy. It's got its ups and downs, but I like that for a first date prep song because it allows me to kind of like vent out some of my excess energy before going into it. Like, I'm an inherently anxious person, and so to like blast a song like this right before I go on a date, I feel like I vent out a lot of that anxious energy, and then I'm able to go into the date in a much more level place.
Mm-hmm.
I also just love the like awkwardness of the lyric on this song, where he talks about like going to this person's apartment and not being really sure if they're into him, and then they come over and sit next to him on the couch and his friend says "dude nice" in the background. Like, that's exactly what the early stages of relationships feel like to me.
Oh my god.
It's like this kind of vague uncertainty coupled with just like lots of like anxious, like questioning yourself and not being sure if you're timing it right. And then the song ends with him actually asking this person out in kind of like a cute, awkward way, which I just really enjoy. It's pretty on the nose, honestly, for this challenge, but it's a song that I always have stuck in my head, so I wanted to use it.
I didn't want to say those words, but it did feel pretty on the nose. Which is kind of
It
like...
is. It's super on the nose.
Is that I don't know if we have an unspoken rule, but I feel like we're kind of all actively trying to avoid the song that's like literally the challenge name in the title or about the thing.
Yeah, like I didn't use First Date by Blink-182 because that's too easy.
I was going to say I didn't use any Taking Back Sunday, so thanks for laughing. I appreciate that.
You're going to make damn sure.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you just know.
So does this song sound like how dating in 2018 feels?
No, I don't think so, because the song starts with him saying, "The first time I saw you was at your apartment," and I don't know anybody that is meeting people at their place, you know? Like, I'm assuming this is supposed to be at some kind of party or something.
God, I sure hope so. Otherwise, it's incredibly creepy.
Right. Everybody I know that's single or dating right now, like, it's Tinder and Bumble and, like, every other dating app under the sun. I know very few couples that actually met in person anymore. So that is the one part of this song that feels dated. This song came out in, I want to say 2014. But if that's the only like dated reference in it and it's not even that big, I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, 2014. What a distant memory.
Those were the days, right?
Those were the days. Oh, but no, this is I don't know if this would be a song that I would choose to play before a date, but I appreciate that you chose this because I do like this as a song. I think there's a lot. These kind of like sort of like post emo bands are really have like these very earnest lyrics that really kind of they're just so awkward, right?
Right.
Kind of like Jeff Rosenstock songs, which are also just
painful in their awkwardness. Yeah.
Which is, it's a turning point, kind of like in our songwriting history as a society, which is fun. I think it's, something's got to kind of move like the genre forward, right? And I'm okay with this. It was 4 years ago, but you get what I mean. I think it's fun. I think there's enough like sort of like variety. I feel like a lot of these songs kind of end up just being kind of like droning guitars for like 4 minutes and a guy saying like nonsensical stuff for like the entire time. There's like some nice dynamics there. It kind of, this song kind of starts off at a slow crawl, but then it kind of picks up. So it kind of gives you a minute to kind of get ready for it, which is fun. I like it a lot. I think it's some dynamics I don't expect out of this genre.
Yeah, I like this song, but this feels like a third or fourth date song for me. Like hoping that I'm going to run into somebody again, or that they'll say yes, or that they'll say yes from the date. I just
listen to it in retrospect.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like I get pumped to go out to a party and play King Cup, at somebody's apartment, and they're the one. But I imagine that still happens.
I mean, you could also just be listening to this song at a house party, which is also then your first date.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like
go.
House party college date, this is your jam.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we would know.
I mean, Sean and I went to a lot of house parties in college.
I don't know what do kids listen to these days. I have no idea.
It depends on what the party is. I don't know. Not everybody, you don't go, it's not all the same.
That's true.
Yeah,
Going, everyone's bumping the same like party playlist. No, sometimes you go and play board games. Sometimes you go and watch movies. Sometimes you get drunk.
Sometimes you go to your friend Kevin's house and you drink PBRs and sit around on the couch and listen to modern baseball.
There you go.
Sometimes.
So now on to the third part of our show, B-sides. And these are songs that were notable and almost got nominated, but weren't quite the perfect one. And these ones are available to use on further challenges. Anybody got some notable B-sides this week?
I have a bunch. I'm going to list only the top ones, though. I didn't choose it because I felt like Sean was saying, it's more of a fourth or fifth date song, but This Modern Love by Block Party is one of my favorite love songs. Little Bribes by Death Cab for Cutie, keeping with the emo train.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't...
Not I Will Possess Your Heart?
Not I Will Possess Your Heart. It's too creepy. It's too creepy. It's a little stalkery.
Talk about afraid of your feelings.
Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll by The Killers is on my list. And then I didn't choose it because A, it felt too emo, and B, the song is about, I'm pretty sure, like, being the person that someone cheats with, but Grand Theft Autumn, Where Is Your Boy Tonight? From Fall Out Boy's first album. Great song, but pretty sure it's about an affair.
Whoopsie doodle.
That's all right. Sometimes wonderful things are born of sin, I guess.
You could say that.
All right, Satan. Whatever you say.
I see the thing is, for this one, I really don't have any notable mentions. There's not really like a song that I found and went back to. I think that there are songs that really get me pumped up and in like the right headspace, and I don't know what it is, but I want to just say a lot of Lenny Kravitz gets me there because he can get in touch with his emotions, but then he also has this amazing drive in his like beats and guitars and rhythms and stuff, so that's really awesome. And then I don't know why, but when you guys at the beginning of the show when we said Reptilla by The Strokes, I was like, oh, that's a good one. That song always gets me pumped up, so maybe that. But that's just because I'm pumped up. It's not really like
it's
relevance
not really
till first
specific.
date. Right, yeah. It's kind of just like, let's get excited. You got a first date. You must have done something right, idiot, And
that's the problem, is we had to get pumped up about a specific thing. If you're just looking just to get hyped in general, like you're like, okay, that's the entire catalog of human history. There's so many songs to choose from, but we're like, this very niche part of our society, of our culture. And that's the point of this podcast, right?
Pretty much.
Yep.
Tyler, did you have any B-sides?
I think my number one runner-up was Heroes Get Remembered, Legends Never Die by 4 Years Strong, which is just... I wanted that happy hardcore song because it's just... There's just something about those sugary, like, vocals, but those, like, drops where they just start just chugging that gets me just so jacked. I'm like, this is... Yes!
Raw power.
Yeah!
Oh my god.
But I'm like, okay, that's a little too much. So I was looking at a lot of different beats. Blazo's Natural Green was another good choice, and then I had an Anamanaguchi song, Endless Fantasy, also on there for a different kind of vibe, but mostly still just kind of like a beat. But it was chiptunes. I don't know how I feel about that. Is like a first date thing. That's definitely I wasn't gonna go in that direction.
Yeah, because when I think chiptunes, I think of romance. All right, well, all of the songs that we chose this week will be added to the official No Repeat playlist on both Apple Music and Spotify. And Tyler, if people want some more lo-fi chill beats to study to, where can they get those recommendations from you?
Hey everybody, you can find my design and illustration work at rudepets.club, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter as Rude Pets Club.
And Sean Evans, if people want to fall into a blissful, dreamlike shoegaze state with you, where can they do that?
They can find me on Instagram and Twitter at TallySean.
And if you want to share your love of emo with me, you can tweet at me. I'm at TC Olmstead. And if you enjoyed your time here with us on No Repeat, please give us a review on your podcast app or a recommendation. Tell a friend about the show. But you can also submit challenges for upcoming episodes of No Repeat. You can tweet at us at NoRepeatPod or email us at norepeatpod@gmail.com, and your challenge may be the inspiration for a future episode. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll be back next week with 3 more songs on No Repeat.